in this moment. The greatest band in the land. You gotta love it. Alright, what's up everybody? It is I, your tribal god of extreme, Peter Joseph here, for video number 2. On your 2 for Sunday, March the 23rd, 2025, or if you're on the replay crew, it is now Monday, March the 24th, 2025. We're beginning the final week, officially the final full week of March, but we still got a week left to get through, and by the time we hit next Tuesday, it'll be April. So, the first 3 months of this year is almost past, and we'll see what happens when we get to April and beyond. And that's it. But thanks for watching right here on Metal God 669. And as always, thank you for watching. Make sure you like the video and subscribe right now. And that's pretty much it. Alright, as always, no big intros. When we get serious, ladies and gentlemen, we gotta get serious for a minute. Now, for those of you who are new to my channel, this is the Metal God channel. I do videos pertaining to music. I have put up some concert footage, talk about the Rock and Roll Hall of Shame, Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, what we call it, Rock and Roll Hall of Shame, the Shammies, or otherwise known as the Grammys, and various related I'll get it out of my mouth, that's what she said, various music-related topics, why I love metal, why I love In This Moment, blah blah blah, stuff like that. But most of the channel is a tribute channel to the faithful departed in the music realm, or the wrestling realm, or TV, and movies, and stuff like that. So it's not a tribute channel per se. It has most of it's pretty much a half and half channel. Half tribute, half music-related videos. And more music-related videos to come. When we get to the summertime, around the summertime area, when we talk about some new music, new music from In This Moment coming out soon. I don't know when, but it's coming. But we got that, new releases coming out, festivals coming your way this summer, lots of new stuff, and lots of new bands I might be talking about. One of them being Sixth Sense, which their album is coming out, I believe, Tuesday. It's a banger. So, go pick that up. Just look them up on Google. Look them up. They kick a lot of ass. They're from Phoenix, Arizona. So we got that. Conquer Divide, I found out pretty much last year. They got some, I think they're coming out with a new record sometime, I don't know when, but do have a new song, called Bad Dreams. That's been out for a little while, so check that out. Check them out on YouTube if you feel like it. All female group. They've been out for a while. Their last album, Slow Burn, came out a couple years ago. The deluxe edition came out last year with a couple of new things here and there. Sadly, Janelle, the former bass player / screamer of the group, left the group to form Velcara, which is coming out with their debut album pretty soon. But, Conquer Divide conquers on, and we'll be hearing from them, those great, sexy ladies, hopefully by the end of the year. We got that. Hanabi, Japanese death metal, been getting into them a little bit now. But today I found out a new band from Italy. How great, the motherland of Italy. They're a band called Kalogr, K-L-O-G-R, but it's pronounced Kalogr. And they've been out for a while. I just found out about them on Instagram. When you find your feed, you get these, random, bands, who's this? Buy a record, why not? Okay. But check us out on Instagram and YouTube with their new videos and stuff like that. So I went to check out Kalogr, or Kalogr, whatever you want to call it. And they just sound pretty damn good. And they're from Italy, so I'm Italian, full-blooded Italian, so why not? So, but they sound pretty damn good. Actually commented on their, one of their videos for, Fate Unknown, the single that just came out, off their new record. Pretty damn good, and, they gave me love and support and all that shit. You gotta love that. And on Instagram, they follow me now, so it's... I mean, I just found out about you guys today, and I followed you, you followed me right back. So I'm like, how great is that? And then people say, oh, nobody likes you, Peter. Right. Anyway, moving on with that. So, check out Clogger on Instagram, and check them out on YouTube, Klogr. They're from Italy. They kick ass. Check out their video for Fate Unknown. It's a banger. What about the metal, baby? You gotta love it. But minus the metal, let's get into something serious. Now, my last video, I talked about the passing of George Foreman. He passed away a couple days ago at the tender age of 76. But today, oh boy, if you have been a long-time wrestling fan like I've been since 1982, when I was a little bit Hulkster dude. So I've been watching wrestling for 43 years. It's insane. But I've only been broadcasting on YouTube for getting close to 16 years with wrestling. So since 2009, I've been talking about the wonderful world of professional wrestling and all the ups and downs and the deaths and all that other stuff. But today, it was on X. Not X. I think it was on. I was looking through Facebook and on the stories. I have Ringside News as one of on Facebook, and when you look through the stories and everything, because Facebook looks like Instagram as it is. So I was looking through the stories and checking out Ringside News, what the latest stories of the day were, and I came upon this article. I'm not taking it from Ringside News. I'm taking it from F4W Online. And when I heard about this man who passed away today, another hit to my childhood. This man was a legend. A legendary broadcaster. The voice of formerly World Class Championship Wrestling, WCCW. And that man is Bill Mercer. He passed away today at that great ripe old age of 99. His birthday was about a month ago. He just turned 99. And lo and behold, we found out the sad news of his untimely passing at the age of 99. Right near the century mark. But it is what it is. So, we got that. But in any case, ladies and gentlemen, let me give you a little bit of backstory for those of you who don't even know the hell Bill Mercer is. Bill Mercer is. Okay, I can't even say it 5 times fast. Anyway, he was an Oklahoma native. Was a member of the Texas Radio Hall of Fame and the Texas Sports Hall of Fame. Working as an announcer in wrestling, baseball, football, and basketball. He was also the on-air talent for a Dallas radio station during the assassination of John F. Kennedy Jr. And we just had that little conspiracy theory came out. I think Trump unearthed the JFK files or some shit like that. Oh, it wasn't the guy you thought it was, John. I forgot who even. It was John Wilkes Booth. I forget who murdered John F. Kennedy, but it wasn't him. I think it was one of his Secret Service guys in the car with him. That's from what I saw in the video. Like, it's like, he pointed the gun like that, and like the ricochet hit him in the head or something like that. But in any case, minus that. So he was there when John F. Kennedy got assassinated. He was the first to break the news. Oh, it's Lee Harvey Oswald. John Wilkes Booth. I think it was Abraham Lincoln. So, sorry. So, anyway, it's late, and my mind's not with me as it is. But anyway, so he first broke the news of John F. Kennedy's killer Lee Harvey Oswald, who would be later charged with his murder. But like I said, now with the new information that came out with the JFK files, with his Secret Service guy, maybe he was working together with Lee Harvey Oswald. I don't know. But that's just another story for another time. Anyway, he was a United States Navy veteran. Thank you for your service. Handled play-by-play duties for the Chicago White Sox and the Texas Rangers, in addition to the Dallas Cowboys. How about them Cowboys? And college football at different points in his career. His wrestling career began in the 1950s in Oklahoma. Boomer Sooner. By God, that's where Jim Ross comes from. Oklahoma Boomer Sooner. Continued when he relocated to Texas, calling matches from the famed Dallas Sportatorium, that great legendary place. 1976, he took over for the retiring Dan Coates for Saturday Night Wrestling and worked with WCCW from 1982 to 1987 before leaving WCCW for Wild West Wrestling. Say that 5 times fast. Holy shit. So we got so that's that. So he left there. He eventually returned for some sporadic appearances near the end of WCCW's run, which I think it was like in the late 80s it ended. He was also part owner of an attempted WCCW revival called World Class 2 in 1997, but that only lasted a year. Didn't really get off the ground anyway. Another fun fact, by the way, he was a broadcaster for the University of North Texas. He called games that featured players that would go on to become Stone Cold Steve Austin, Kevin Von Erich, the late great Kevin Von Erich. And we all remember him, one of his best calls was, I think, Kerry Von Erich beating Ric Flair for the then NWA World title. An amazing event that was. But, yeah, so, that's pretty much it for that. Not much backstory, with that, but if you followed his career from WCCW in 82 to 87, which I did almost on a weekly, basically on a weekly basis, watching WCCW on Channel 31 here in the Northeast at that time. Bill Mercer was like, I don't want to kind of compare him to like the greats like Gordon Soley and Jim Ross, even not Bobby Heenan per se, like Gorilla Monsoon, but him and like Gordon Soley were like gods back in the day before we even knew about Jim Ross and Gorilla Monsoon, Vince McMahon in a way, but he was a legend. Probably one I could probably put him up in the top 10 wrestling play-by-play announcers of all time. You gotta put Gordon Soley like in that top 5 with Jim Ross. Gordon. I would probably put my top 3: Gordon Soley, Jim Ross, Gorilla Monsoon, right there. Then it's a toss-up between the next 4. From 4 to 10, it's a toss-up. So, because you got guys like Tony Schiavone, Jerry Lawler, not so much Michael Cole, Bobby Heenan, Vince McMahon, and Justin Bobby Ventura. Well, I tell you, man, in that top 10, in my top 10 list, and then you gotta add Joey Styles. I'd probably put Mauro Ronaldo in my top 10. But, you can't say World Class Championship Wrestling without Bill Mercer. He was a god back in the day, and so many great calls in the history of WCCW, especially with Kerry Von Erich and Ric Flair, and so many other great matches from the WCCW days. But he has passed away today at the ripe old age of 99, and he will be missed, and him and Gordon Soley and Gorilla Monsoon and Bobby Heenan, they're all, hanging out in the gorilla position, no pun intended, with the Gorilla Monsoon, hanging out, talking about old stories from, the 80s and, maybe in the early 70s into the 80s and maybe up to now, but who knows with that. But, so Bill Mercer, you are a legend. Thank you for basically my childhood. Becoming a big fan. Thanks to my grandpop, my nona, not nona, that's grandmother. If you're Italian, no, it means grandfather, or you can just say pop, nana, whatever you want to call it in Italian. But anyway, so if it wasn't for my pop, my no, I would not even be watching. I probably would have been watching wrestling religiously, when WWF came around with Hulk Hogan brother, going to WrestleMania 1 with my dad, and then going to WrestleMania 3 with my dad and one of my old friends at the Nassau Mausoleum, the old Nassau Mausoleum, to see WrestleMania 3 on closed circuit TV before pay-per-view was around. But that was always fun. But I got started in 1982 with World Class Championship Wrestling, and then the AWA, and then eventually the WWF later on with that, and then NWA, WCCW, all the way up to AEW, Ring of Honor, TNA, ECW, and all those other great, the great federations that are still around and have gone to the wayside. And even the indie feds, when I started going to indie shows with Ring of Honor pretty much in 2006. So, but, I've been a big wrestling fan for so long. And sometimes, I hate it. Sometimes with certain wrestlers, but even with all the bullshit politics and bullshit that goes around backstage, and even the garbage community we have, since pretty much the birth of the internet. Not the birth, when, AOL started coming around and people were talking about it on different chat rooms before YouTube, and now Facebook, Instagram, Twitter has come around, YouTube, and different other, like, Daily Motion and Twitch, shit like that. I mean, you can't go anywhere, any platform, and people are not talking about wrestling. Even when you go out in the streets, like, hey, did you see that match with John Cena? If people that you talk about wrestling, or you go out, you have wearing a wrestling shirt. People are like, yeah, the NWO, too sweet. I had that one day when I was working at one of my side jobs. I was a courier, and I was wearing a freaking NWO Bullet Club shirt. Excuse me. I'm running around New York City delivering something, and some guy, I was walking down one of the streets, I think on 1st or 2nd Avenue. I'm walking with my freaking Bullet Club shirt on. It's around I think it was the spring or summertime. And I'm walking across the street, some guy goes, hey, yeah! Says, hey, yeah, Bullet Club, too sweet, yeah, woo! I didn't, that, but, he looked like he was drunk, so I was like, sure, get away, I'm like, okay, yeah, too sweet! Brother, whatever. But, yeah, it's great. It's great to be a wrestling fan sometimes, but, getting noticed for your shirt, or, your wrestling shirt, or even, now, sometimes I get noticed for my In This Moment shirts and various shirts I wear, wrestling shirts or band merchandise I wear. And I was like, hey, In This Moment kicks ass. Even if they don't know who the fuck In This Moment are, they're like, yeah, great shirt, man. I'm like, thank you. I know they don't listen to it, but like, yeah, great shirt. Okay, thank you. Sometimes I get stopped. It's like, who the fuck is In This Moment? And I was like, oh, YouTube it. That's all I say, is YouTube it. You'll love it. Next thing you know, they're a fan. Well, sometimes not, but, can't please everybody. I wish you could, but, Even when I go see In This Moment, I've been to concerts, but In This Moment opened right? Or they came like maybe after the opening act, like one of the opening acts and shit like that. And people are like, all right, who's next? And I go, oh, the fun's about to start. And I'm like, oh, who's coming out next? It's like in this moment. It's like, who the fuck is in this moment? I pull up my phone, pull up Daddy's Fallen Angel, blast it in like 25 people around me that don't even know. Like, some people, they know it. And other people that don't even know what the fuck the band is, like, rocking out to Daddy's Fallen Angel. Like, oh, this band's great. I was like, oh, you should see them live. They're coming up next. And then In This Moment comes out, and they're just jamming and rocking out with their, making ears bleed. And I'm, like, looking around. I'm like, I told you. And then when they're done, they say, oh, man, I loved In This Moment. They were great. I'm like, you see? You're a fan. You love it. You want more of it? Come back to another show. Why not? But in any case, minus all that, getting back into wrestling, it's just great to be a wrestling fan for so long. And I know I've been talking about it for almost 16 years now on this great platform of YouTube. But, you run into idiots that think they know everything. They don't. But they have these stupid opinions. They get themselves into trouble. Kitty. Sorry. And the wrestlers here, they're like, hey, what the fuck? They go back and forth on Twitter. Right there, Joey Janela? I'm just saying, but I haven't gone back and forth with Joey Janela. I'm just saying, and I'm just bringing his name up because he's going back and forth with that schmuck from New York. Not me, but I'm from New York, but I'm a great New Yorker, unlike some fake New Yorker. But it is what it is. But I never had a problem with any wrestler coming up to me at a show, like, hey, why didn't you say this on, you want to say this in my face, something like that. Like, never had that in my life. I'm always respectful of the wrestlers that I meet, even if I hate them. I hated Colt Cabana for so long, saying, oh, Colt Cabana, the man who sucks dick, And then meeting him in person a few times, like, oh, I take everything I ever said about you back. He's like, oh, okay, good, what did you say, Never mind, don't worry about it. You go out and have a great match. As much as I hate the guy, I hate Colt Cabana back in the day, Gotta respect him as a wrestler and a man, so. Can't have so much hatred for some guy, I mean, it is what it is. I still hate, I used to have so much hate for John Cena when he was getting put down our throats during the PG era for so long, for like 12, 13 years. It was just insane. Like, shut up, go away! When Roman was getting put down our throats every week, yeah, I said some bad things about that. I'm like, that I regret, but I apologize for it. And people, still bring it up because they're fucking dumb fucks. Oh, you wish death on Roman. Fuck you. Did Roman Reigns himself, did Joe annoy ever say anything on video or anything on Twitter about it? No. At the time, no. But now I love Roman. Ever since, when he came out on live TV and announced he had leukemia, that tells you a lot. You could hate the guy, but if he comes out on live TV and, comes out like he's out of character, unscripted, and he's like, my name is Joe, and I got leukemia, y'all, stuff like that, and I gotta go away to get it checked out. Then he comes back, probably one of the most epic returns in Roman's career, next to him coming back at SummerSlam and it's on the 4-year reign of terror. When he came back and announced that he was in remission, I was like, loved it. Even when Cena finally returned here, I'm like, thank the Lord. Took it 20-something years to do that, but thank you. But I didn't become a Roman fan because of other people that I know. No. I just say, you know what? He's a man. I can't hate him forever. Like Cena, I could hate him forever, but now, Now he finally turned heel right near the tail end of his career, and he's retiring at the end of this year. I'm like, let me go for a ride. Let me see what this heel turn can do. Even though the first promo sucked, but could have done way better just burying Cody up the wazoo. But we'll see what happens tomorrow on Raw. But and I think the match at Mania is going to be pretty damn good. I hope Cena wins. As much as I don't want him to break Flair's record, it's got to be broken eventually. So whether it would be by Charlotte or Cena himself, but it is what it is. I hate Cody Rhodes, but I met the guy, so I can't say anything bad about him. But his promos are boring. His theme song sucks. But he's still a man, so I can't hate the guy because I don't like him that much. I don't like his character. Because, people said I wish death on Roman, the man, Roman. No, I didn't wish death on the man in Roman Reigns, Joe Annoy. No, I wish death on his character. It's separate things. His character can die and he can come back as fucking The Undertaker or some shit like that. And I'm like, oh, this is great! Fuck the big dog gimmick. But people will just, love what, take things that I say and twist it, and then, become the bad guy. I'm not gonna play Damage Control, not the group, but, what I mean. But it is what it is. But you can't please everybody in the WC, even back then, the WC. They can't please everybody because everybody thinks they have a great opinion and they don't. I never said I do, but at least I'm real with my opinion. If I don't like the direction of somebody, somebody's character, I'll voice my opinion. It's like, I don't even like what they're doing with Zelina Vega right now. And I support Zelina Vega. I'm like, she's getting basically buried for no apparent reason. I don't get it. Either it's punishment for something she did, which we don't know, or it's just like, yeah, we don't like you anymore. Fuck you, get out of here. I'm like, why? Why can't they just push Zelina to get a, after she won Queen of the Ring, and then won the tag team titles with Carmella, and then everything went, pfft. She got hurt, and then got released, comes back, gets involved with the LWO, had that great match with Mommy Rhea Ripley at Backlash in Puerto Rico a couple years ago. Great moment for her. And then we all thought she was going to become either the Women's United States Champion or the Intercontinental Champion. And what happens? First round knockout. I'm like, what the hell? And then she loses this past Friday to Piper Niven. In her first, in Zelina's first, I believe, first SmackDown match. I could be wrong on that, but we saw her on SmackDown because she got transferred over. They took her out of the LWO, which I don't even understand. Maybe SmackDown needed some more female talent, but you take her out. We don't see her in the ring, even in the, except for the tournaments and stuff, but which was really Raw and SmackDown. And then I think it was her first match on SmackDown, since getting transferred to SmackDown, I should say, and she just gets buried. And me and a whole ton of other people in the community are, hashtag push Zelina for months. And what does WWE do? Oh, we don't give a fuck. And I said it on I think it was on my SmackDown review. I said, Zelina Vega's career is pretty much done in WWE. They're probably going to release her again. Or the only way to save face is put her with her husband, Malachi Black. Or Aleister Black. Then again, you can put her back with Andrade, see if that works, even though Andrade is basically back in purgatory. Just stuck right now. had that whole thing with The Miz. I didn't even know what that was about. I think it's still going on, but I mean, who cares? Where's it going with The Miz and Andrade? Is Andrade going to be Miz's mentor or some shit like that? I mean, who cares? But, I mean, the only way you can save Andrade is putting him with Zelina Vega again, but then, how long is that gonna work? I mean, it worked in NXT, and then that fizzled out. So then I think Zelina got released and then comes back. I don't know what happened there, but, or she got put up to the main roster. I forgot what happened. But anyway, moving on. Blah, blah, blah. But yeah, Zelina Vega's, I don't know. I'm hoping her time isn't going to be running out, after, pretty either soon or after Mania when they do more cuts and shit. Then again, we could have, like, Black Monday, and, next thing we know, we have, like, 50 people getting released, and one of them is Zelina Vega. I would hate to see that, but then, whereas, Zelina could just stay home, and then, hang out on YouTube with Dakota Kai. I don't know if that'll still happen, but, Zelina could go back to her Twitch channel and just hang out with us and stuff. She can continue her wrestling career in TNA, go back to TNA as, Rosita, or just go by her real name, Thea Trinidad, or go to AEW. She can go to Stardom. She can go anywhere, really. But I would really, really, really consider putting her with her husband, Tommy End, otherwise known as Aleister Black, / Malachi Black, when he debuts pretty soon, probably after Mania. That SmackDown after Mania, what I would do is, showcase Aleister Black. He comes out with his epic entrance, and I hope they keep his theme, that epic theme by Code Orange. If not, if they Def Rebel him like they did Zelina with her new theme, we're gonna be pissed. But, I mean, if Aleister has to come out with Zelina, I mean, maybe eventually later on, maybe there's an interaction they're gonna put him on SmackDown, so that's a good thing. So they're gonna be there with his hot wife, Zelina Vega. So whether they interact together, I mean, we'll see. It was like, hey, what are you doing here? I work here now, But I would put them together. I would have Zelina Vega be Aleister Black's manager and have her come out like a dark goth look or some shit. It would be so good. But so anyway, we'll see what happens with that. Alright, but yeah, but that's what the wrestling community is. A bunch of assholes that think they have a great opinion when they don't. It's just like one thing after another. People don't like your opinion. They think you're full of shit. I mean, yeah, I disagree with certain YouTubers on here that I could care less for. Two in particular. I hate their opinions. I don't really give two fucks about them at all. But, if I mention them and they say, oh, you're mentioning them, you're obsessed with them. No, I'm bringing them up as reference. So. And with JD, with the whole Mercedes Moné, he gets kicked off on House of Glory commentary. Good for him. He should have been banned from that fucking promotion, but that's another story for another time. It's just another case of JD opening up his vagina, inserting his foot, just being a selfish prick that he always is. He's not great on commentary. He's boring on House of Glory. He's boring. And then he's like, oh, I've done this more time than you, shit like that. I'm like, yeah, but your opinions are stupid. You're bad-mouthing AEW every fucking week. And on your Twitter machine. You're bad-mouthing mounted wrestlers like Mercedes Moné, who, had every right to say, get out of here. Go fuck yourself, JD. Alexa Bliss, Braun Strowman, and even Ricochet, Joey Janela. So many people hate the fuck out of him. He's like sitting there like, I got all the attention, look at me. You're getting the attention the wrong way. Because someday he's one of these wrestlers. If God forbid you're there at House of Glory and one of those wrestlers are there and they see you backstage with some shit, they're gonna come up to you and say, "Oh, you want to say what you gotta say to me on Twitter now?" You're gonna be pissing and crapping your pants. God forbid one of those female or male wrestlers beat the fuck out of him. I would laugh my ass off. Because he deserves it. He deserves a good ass kicking. For all the bullshit he says. So that's all it is. He's a WWE mark. And a bad one at that. It's a shill. He's a mark. Even I'll go even further. He's a smart mark, as Brian Pillman would say. Well, he's not very smart, but I digress. Alright, enough about that. So, I'm gonna get out of here, guys. It's late, and I gotta go to work tomorrow, and all this shit. Got some errands to run. I gotta go to my doctor tomorrow. I got a busy week this week with doctor appointments and other shit. Got baseball coming up on Thursday. Hey, the Mets won today, 10-1 over the Marlins. They got the Yankees tomorrow. Ha! In their final spring training game, and then they're off to Houston for the beginning of the season on Thursday in Houston at 4 p.m. on SNY. Clay Holmes is Met debut, the season debut. See how the Mets go. They play Thursday, then Saturday and Sunday. Then they're off to Florida to face the Marlins. Monday, I think it's Monday and Tuesday. And then they're off, I think they're off next Wednesday. That's April the 2nd, I believe. Then they start their home series. No, I think it's Tuesday. Wait. I forget. I know they play 6 games on the road, then they come home. Their opening days next weekend, not this weekend, next weekend, the following weekend. They're playing the Blue Jays. Well, that's gonna be fun. So we got that. So the first, pretty much the first 9 games of the season for the Mets are a little bit dicey. The Yankees start at home Thursday afternoon against the Brew Crew. Oh. I mean, last year the Brewers faced the Mets in the opener, and they took 2 or 3. No, they swept the Mets at home, mind you. That was bad. The Mets started, I think, 0-5, and then it was just bad. The first month of the season for the Mets was just bad, and it got worse as we hit May, and then after June 1st, they went zoom to the moon. One of the most epic runs in their history. 70 wins. Got the wild card. Beat the Brewers in the wild card round in 3 games. An epic 3-game series. Went on to beat the Filthies in 4 or 5 games. And then, sadly, their historic run ended in LA in 6 games. So, to the eventual champions. So we'll see what happens with the Mets this year. The rotation right now looks like, ugh. Holmes is pitching game 1, McGill game 2, and who's in game 3? Canning, I think his name is Canning, I forget. One of the rookies from the minors is starting game 3, and then when they go to Florida next Tuesday and Wednesday, I think we're going to see Peterson and Senga, because Senga's the number 5 guy. Of all things, he's number 5. But, yeah, Shomanaya's out till, I think, May. Who knows, May or June. Frankie Montez, who they picked up this year from the Reds, he's out till I don't know when. Alvarez is out till May. McNichols is out till May. going to be really tough for the first month of the year for the Mets. But they can stay, if they can get through April, not that many games back of first place, then I think when May 1st hits, and some of the stuff like Montez comes in, starts pitching great, Shomanaya comes back, becomes gives us what he gave us in most of the NLCS, our tribal chief supposedly. If he can get back to what he did in the playoffs, that'd be great. Peterson, the same thing. I'm worried about McGill because he's always getting hurt. Same thing with Peterson. Senga, I don't know how he's gonna come. How he's gonna be coming off a really, horrible. Not even pitched much of 24, and then had that, 2 horrible games in the playoffs. If he can get back to his rookie season when it was just like lights out, that would really help the Mets' rotation. But they gotta pitch well, and the offense has to get a lot of runs. Because I don't know about that bullpen right now. I don't. Even if we have AJ Minter from the Braves, we got Diaz, who's, he's Jekyll and Hyde every fucking year. Even with his good year, 50-some-odd saves, he's good, but still. But that's that. But in any case, I went off on a tangent. But anyway, I'm out of here. So the Bill Mercer, rest in peace, sir. And as always, a ceremonial toast to the faithful departed. So the Bill Mercer, rest in peace, sir. Cheers. Announcing all those big, great matches up in heaven with Bruiser Brody, the Von Erichs. So many great people that have passed on. But he's up there with Gorilla Monsoon, Bobby Heenan, I believe Gordon Soley as well. So, just that big ring in the sky gets one more member, and that is the late, great Bill Mercer from WCCW. So that's that. Alright guys, thanks for watching. Leave a comment down below. Don't forget to subscribe and all the good stuff. But until next time, my friends, take each day as it comes, one day at a time, because we never know when it'll be our last day. But we have to cherish it and just, like I said, take it one day at a time. And when our number is called, we'll hopefully be ready, even if we don't want to be ready. God will call us sometime when we least expect it, and that's pretty much it. But even going back on our lives, if we lived a good life, great. If you didn't have a great life, and but at least when you live to 99, you've had a good life. Like Betty White died at 99. She had a great life. And other people that have died right before 100 or even at 100, they've had a great life. So, Bill Mercer, he had a great career in wrestling from 82 to 87, even before that. Just an amazing guy. My childhood takes another hit. So, you go back to the glory days of the 80s. I was born in 76. So, growing up in the early 80s into the, with WCCW, AWA, the early days of the NWA, then getting into the golden era of WWF, with the NWA turning into WCW, near the tail end of the 80s, going into the early 90s, with WCW was on a boom period, WWE going into the new generation era was, and then, the NWO, the birth of the NWO, the Monday Night Wars, the Attitude Era, which was the greatest era. That and the golden age of wrestling. The 80s. That and the Attitude Era are probably one of my favorite eras of wrestling. ECW comes around, making it the third brand. When WCW was sucking ass near the tail end, WWE, at the Attitude Era, just running strong and pretty much putting WCW out of business. And hey, Dynamite, I think on April the 16th are going to surpass Nitro for the number of episodes. I think at 256, 258, something like that. And they're calling that episode, the April 16th episode of Dynamite, is Spring Breakthrough. So I don't know if that's going to be in Florida or where it's going to be. But April 16th is going to be it could be the death of AEW. People are like, oh, is that AEW is going to die the same day when WCW died. The same exact date in the same exact location in Florida. It is in Florida, actually. That'll really be bad. April 16th, the last fucking episode of Dynamite. You know, Shane McMahon comes in and says, I have bought AEW. I highly doubt that. But yeah, I think April 16th, you know, we're gonna be like waking up like, well, let's see what happens tonight on Dynamite. Yeah, we'll see. As we're, you know, coming out of Dynasty, going into, you know, Double or Nothing, coming up in May and shit. Look at that. You know, WrestleMania week is coming up in 26 days. So under 4 weeks remaining to WrestleMania. That's gonna be Friday night's gonna be just insane with SmackDown in the Hall of Fame and Unbreakable. I did say Ring of Honor, but I actually looked today. Ring of Honor is not gonna be there. Supercard is not gonna be on April the 18th. It's gonna be, don't know when. So they're not running it like they usually have for the last couple years during WrestleMania weekend. So it's not gonna happen. They're changing it up this year, so I don't know. Let me see. Maybe I could look up the actual date of Supercard, because I haven't really announced the. I haven't heard the date, but they're not doing it when I thought it was on WrestleMania weekend. Let me see if they actually announced the date. Oh, it does. Actually, it did. Okay. Let me just get this from, okay. Alright, Supercard of Honor, Friday night, May the 2nd, from Atlantic City, New Jersey, at the Boardwalk Hall. I would pay good money to go there. I might go there. It's May 2nd, it's coming up in about a month from now. Basically 5-6 weeks away. Think about it. So yeah. Supercard of Honor, May 2nd, Atlantic City, New Jersey. So that's Friday night, head-to-head with SmackDown. But thankfully it's not running the same on that Friday night before Mania again. It's going to be May the 2nd, basically, I think it's about a week late, 2 weeks later. 2 weeks from that Friday, from WrestleMania Friday. So, that's good. I'm glad it's getting away from being on WrestleMania weekend, because it barely gets any coverage. So yeah, once again, Supercard of Honor, May the 2nd, in Atlantic City, New Jersey, at the Boardwalk Hall Center, whatever it is. Yeah, just look up where the Boardwalk Hall is. It's on the boardwalk, obviously. Well, I know where it is, actually. I know where it is. I'm not going to tell you where you just look it up. But yeah, tickets are on sale now at rhtix.com. So, get them on the hot. I don't know how many. I don't even know how many seats that holds. Let me look that up. If I can. Before I get out of here for good, I want to look up the capacity for the Boardwalk Hall in Atlantic City, New Jersey. I would say it holds a couple of thousand people, so it may sell out. I mean, it's Jersey. Jersey loves that wrestling. For GCW has been in Jersey for so long. And when they run out of Atlantic City, New Jersey, they used to be at the Showboat Casino, but they moved in that where they were for so many years, and then they kind of moved out of where they were. I think they moved into another part of that building, like upstairs or something, or downstairs. Who knows? Boardwalk Hall. Oh, okay. It's called the Jim Whelan Boardwalk Hall. Oh, I definitely know what this is. Right on the boardwalk near Caesars, Atlantic City. It's where, if you can't find Caesars, let me see how many seats does it hold? Capacity 10,500. Wow. There is no way they're getting 10,500 people for a Supercard. No way. At most, I would say they get, at most, I would say about 2,000, maybe 2,500 people at most. But, like I said, tickets are on sale now at rhtix.com. You know, so we'll see what happens in about 6 weeks from now with how many tickets they actually sell for Supercard. And then after that, will probably be, I think in June or July, whenever Death Before Dishonor comes around, because I think there's only going to be like three Ring of Honor pay-per-views, which is usually those three, Supercard, well, technically 4 if you want to put Wrestle Dynasty in as a 4th Ring of Honor pay-per-view, even though it's under the New Japan banner, but still. So technically Wrestle Dynasty, Supercard, Death Before Dishonor, and then we go all the way up till Final Battle in December, which I hope this year is back in New York City like it was last year. That whole weekend was just amazing. My birthday weekend too. I went to every fucking show. And I only paid for 2 shows. My friends got me my birthday present going to see, that was the Dynamite tapings. You know, I went to Ring of Honor Final Battle live, sat ringside, well, not ringside, I was like, ringside, but I was not like first, second row. I was like 5th, 6th row on the, right on the ramp. So, couldn't miss me. Then I went to the Collision, the live, I think it was live Collision and the final Rampage. That was epic. No, but I sat in the balcony that time, but, and the same, and pretty much the same for, the Dynamite tapings, so that was fun. But I'm hoping we get that again this coming December. Even though my birthday's it's on I think it's on a Wednesday or Thursday of December, but blah 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 blah. Moving on. That's that. But yeah. So the Bill Mercer, rest in peace, sir. That's it. Alright, I talked way more than enough. Almost an hour in this video. I'm sorry, guys. If you don't like it, don't watch it. So, but yeah. Bill Mercer passed away at the age of 99, and that's it. Until next time, my friends. Peace.